Welcome to the real world. I can show you the world.
And then?
And you'll in a world of legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Internally, you must laugh a little bit of all the different ways we try to get you to give us an answer. But from you've made it really clear, even going back to you and I having that conversation at the league meetings in October in New York, and we were just right outside the hotel just chatting about Dak, and you just had such a confident look in your face, like we believe in Dak. Dak's the guy. Why are you asking me these annoying questions? He's the guy. And it sounds like that is still the same sentiment in Dallas. And you guys do feel really optimistic this is getting done.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of people want to, somewhat be critical of the organization, of Jerry and myself, of Coach McCarthy, of our team. And of course, Dak being the quarterback gets the brunt of it. You know that, Chase, of our success in the playoffs. But at the same time, you got to, certainly recognize that we've won 36 regular season games in 3 years, which, of course, we're playing 17 now. I think the Patriots may have done that, doing it in 16 games on a 3-year run. But, we're having really great success in the regular season, and there's no question. I understand the criticism from our fans. I understand criticism from media. We all understand that, in terms of not winning the big game in the playoffs. And we certainly got to take that next step. I know we could go out there and no one's assuming anything and win, have another great regular season. And no one's going to give, and they shouldn't, no one's going to, really give, hey, they're going to get it done this time until they see it. And we understand that. We put ourselves in that position with, our playoff winning percentage. And we do have to take that next step, but I certainly believe we can do it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Game Time Brian, otherwise known as the Mailman, sharing my Tuesday evening with you guys. I am excited to be here. I'm excited to have this guest on. It's funny. Like, we think we know all the Dallas Cowboy YouTubers, and then you look up the numbers and there's 51 million YouTube channels. So there's no way possible for us to know each other, think we know. The only way that I would have met this man would have been on Mark Holmes's live stream, and we did. I could just tell by listening to him talk that he knows his stuff when it comes to the Cowboys. I like to think I know, but I'm pretty opinionated as well. I'm a little frustrated. He's Mr. Optimism, even though they call him the angry Cowboy fan. Either way, we're going to pick his brain. I'm excited to talk to a fellow YouTuber, fellow Cowboy fan who's been living with this. Good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to talk about it all. Welcome, the angry Cowboys fan. Welcome to my show, my man. How you doing this evening?
All right, man. How's it going, Game Time? Brian, man, it's good to be on the show. Good to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. And I see we got a lively chat. I see the Cowboys Caves in the house. Mike Tag is in the house. And Mike Tag, let me just tell you, bro, you are everywhere. You are putting in the work. It's going to pay off. It has been paying off. I love when you have on the greats. I usually can't watch it live, bro, but just be rest assured I'm always watching it. If anybody doesn't know who the Cowboys Cave is, look him up. He has all the greats on the show. It's fantastic. That being said, we got a lot of Birds fans in here, but let me just run through. We got the Godfather stopping by, Mark Holmes. Yes, me and Mark Holmes are fine, everybody. We're fine. We're playing a little game of tag you're it. He likes to light me up, but listen, I'm going to defer to Mark at the end of the day. He's the one that welcomed me into this world. Angry, I never thought I'd be a YouTuber. I don't know about you, but Mark, I met Mark a couple years ago. I don't even know, maybe 3 years ago now, going on 3. And he's like, the first meeting, he was kind of disheveled. He was doing a tailgate. That's where I met Mike Fisher for the first time. I've had a long conversation with Mike. He's a good man. Talk about angry. He should be the angry Mike Fisher, but me and Mark got to befriend each other, and he's like, "You should do a YouTube channel. You should do a YouTube channel." And I'm like, yeah. But last year, man, we're going on 1 year. You're angry, and we are on the precipice of 30K. So I think about 600 videos later, it's starting to pay off. But listen, I bring you on the show because I want to pick your brain. Listen, man, they report tomorrow as far as actually to Oxnard. I want you to talk about your expectations, and I'm going to let you freelance. What are you thinking about this upcoming training camp, man?
Well, going into training camp, the one thing that's on my mind, the first thing that's on my mind is the offensive line. How is that going to hold up? Who are they going to have at the left tackle position? Is Tyler Guyton going to be the one that's starting this season, starting first game against the Browns? And if he's not, what's the alternative? As far as like the personnel that we have, the players that we have on the line, I'm not too worried about, because there's ways you can mix and match those individuals to have a solid offensive line. Just in case Tyler Guyton doesn't work out, you can kick Tyler Smith to the left tackle, put Cooper Beebe where he's meant to be at the left guard, center Brock Hoffman, Zach Martin, and keep going. So that's one of the personnel packages that I worry about, but at the same time, I worry about the defensive line. So it's the trenches for me.
Yeah, all right. So we'll start there then, because that's good, because I got like 3 pages of stuff. So we'll start with the O-line. Now, we've heard a lot of people talk about their thoughts on the left tackle, Tyler Guyton. I want to go back to the draft. I want your honest opinion. What were you thinking when we were on the clock? I got my ideas, and I'll tell you after your comments and thoughts on it. What was your thought on Tyler Guyton? And, was that the guy you wanted, or what was your perfect plan? What did you think they were going to do or should have done?
I mean, I know what we had to do, and I believe that they went with what we had to do is obviously get that left tackle. But me, I was kind of looking flashy. I was looking flashy, to tell you the truth, because I knew he wouldn't last until the second round. I was wanting to go get Keon Coleman.
Yep.
I was wanting the wide receiver just because, one, you got another threat on that other side of CeeDee Lamb, and two, just in case CeeDee Lamb wants to hold out.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been jealous. I don't know if I told you, I live right in between Atlantic City and Philadelphia. I'm right off of the Atlantic City Expressway, so I'm literally 35 minutes from the Link where the Eagles play, and I'm about 35 minutes from the Jersey Shore in Atlantic City. And I've been jealous of the Eagles. I've been jealous of the Eagles and their line play, their offensive line more specifically. Just wanted to have to go into a season not holding my breath when it comes to Tyron Smith. Terrence Steele coming off the ACL did not have a good season last year, and we're all holding our breath again. I was glad that they addressed the line. First round pick, to me, you got to take best available. I was thinking I was thinking take Barton, the big interior lineman, in the first round, and sliding. And this is why we don't know what's going on inside that building. And, sliding Tyler Smith out to tackle, because they prioritize left tackle, but, and they say it's a more valuable position. And I agree with that theoretically. But if the guy's raw as Tyler Guyton is, he may not be day one starter. I'm just going to let everybody know. I know I would throw him out there angry. I would throw him out there and say it. And right now, like you're starting Thursday, you're the starter, and you let it go from there. He could work his way out of the starter. That's fine. But I'm not going to go Chuma Edoga. Chuma Edoga scares the living what out of me. He should not have been on this team. He almost got Dak killed in Miami.
Yeah, I keep seeing that play over and over. Yeah.
So I mean, your thoughts. I mean, I did like Keon Coleman. I think he did end up going in the second round at the top of.
Yep.
I liked and like I was at the draft. I had them all written down and ranked, and we were streaming live throughout the whole second round. There was another receiver. And I can't think of his name that I really like. Kind of reminded me of Debo, but yeah, I was on board with just going best available. That's when Dallas does good, right? When we start getting cute and start doing it for what we need, that's what I'm afraid of with Guyton. So
Yes.
I don't know. Do you think he should be day one starter until otherwise noted, or do you think they should be a competition between I don't know, Asim Richards, Matt Waletzko, and I guess Chuma Edoga? That's crazy. I don't know what they see in that boy.
I think Brian Broaddus pretty much the back and forth that he had, I believe it was on 105.3, and they were pretty much saying that Dallas would look crazy if they didn't start Tyler Guyton the first game. They would look crazy for the simple fact, like, this is year 2 and you've gotten somebody in the first round and they haven't produced first round material, so I kind of go with that. And should we throw him to the wolves?
I just think he needs every rep. That's all my thing. You throw him out there now, and like I said, if you disagree, I want to hear your thoughts. Throw him out there now and let him get all the work. He needs all. I mean, listen, they're all going to rotate in. Don't get me wrong, but number one starters get the bulk of the work. I don't understand why we're giving Edoga on paper. Aren't we like past that? I mean, listen, I could see this. I could see Cooper Beebe not starting year 1, and not because he may not be good enough necessarily, but I think this offensive line coach, Mike Solari, I think, is that his name? I know it's Solari. I don't know. I believe it's Mike. He coached under Landry, for crying out loud. That's how old this guy is. Yeah, he did. Solari, he was like I don't know. He wasn't the O-line coach at the time, but that's how old this guy is. So, I don't know. I'm a little. That's obviously, we brought up the one trouble point on this team is that O-line. I'm not going to argue with anybody who says that they're not question marks, because there is.
Yes.
I think Terrence Steele. Well, I expect a lot more from him a year later. So, like, your thought on Terrence Steele, man?
See, at the end of the season, I started seeing some progression. Excuse me, some progression with Terrence Steele. Some things that was actually, some things that was actually giving me hope, because there was a point in time last season where I was kind of like looking forward to this off season and what we had on defense for the following year, because I kind of knew. I knew we were going to go down in flames. I hate to say it like that, but
you knew it.
It was the Buffalo game.
Wow.
And then right after the Miami game, I'm like, we're not ready.
Buffalo,
we're not ready.
I believe I saw a stat. Buffalo threw the ball 13 times the whole game. They literally just ran down our throats. Literally.
Yeah. And it was right off the tackle.
Yeah, and that was a frustrating game. Now, there was multiple frustrating. Last year was a very weird year. We either blew people out or we got blowed out. You know what I mean? So it was kind of one of those years. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm excited for these guys to get some play, but at the same time, week 1, I see Myles Garrett just blinking. Who the hell? I mean, to me, that's why he said angry. I think we should run some 12 personnel. I know I'm like talking. Yeah. Don't you think that would be smart to start the year? Go 2 tight ends and,
Yeah, a heavier package to get some extra block on them, some chips on them. Yeah, we definitely going to have Zeke Elliott in the backfield, giving them those, that protection, the chips and everything.
I mean, line them up, and just, I think you can run our offense. I mean, I don't know. All right, so you cover the O-line. I mean, it seems like this offensive line, a coach loves them some Brock Hoffman. I don't have a problem with Brock Hoffman. I thought Brock Hoffman did good last year when he came in for Tyler Biotish. Now, I never got your. I mean, what did you think of Tyler Biotish? Do you think that was a big loss, or do you think we're good? I kind of think we're good. I didn't like how he gave up pressure inside. One good thing he did, in my opinion, was he was a good. I mean, he could, you see where the pressure's coming from, even though Dak is very good at that. He was able to point out the defense, but I didn't think he was a very good center. Your thoughts on Biotish? And I actually think it's going to be an upgrade, but what's your opinion on that?
I mean, I feel the same way. I feel Tyler let a lot of pressure up the middle. He was in Dak Prescott's lap a majority of the time where Dak would have to roll out of the pocket. And it was either Terrence Steele or Tyler Biotish that was letting that pressure in. And so the way that people are pumping Cooper Beebe up, it's like, wow, he may be the next coming of Jason Kelsey or something. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to fit in that center position if it's not Brock Hoffman. But like you said, the line coach likes Brock Hoffman.
I don't like that, though, Angry. I don't like the fact that he picks favorites. Listen, there's nothing wrong with the guy being the first one in the room, the last one to leave, being a hard worker. He's going to have a job in the NFL. That's what I'm a little annoyed at when I hear that. He's going to be in the NFL. He's going to be a backup. Or, if BB is better, then he needs to play. And I would hope that McCarthy would say, yeah, listen, I'm sorry, but I got to override you. We can all see it. Brock Hoffman is a hell of a backup, solid. But I don't like anointing. I don't mind anointing now. It's only training camp. But if week one, we're looking at Chuma Edoga at left tackle, he's got no upside. He is what he is. He's not changing, people. He's a veteran in this league who's average at best. So go with the young guy and give him help. That doesn't mean you throw him to the wolves, like you said. I'm not saying that, but I would think, just give him some help. There's ways of doing it in the NFL. I mean, look what Joe Burrow did. He went to the Super Bowl with an ridiculously bad offensive line. They schemed it up, and it came back to nip him in the end, but they got to a Super Bowl. So thanks, Linda Conyer. She says, yeah, people, only 16 likes with 50 in the room. Hit the like button. Real quick, before we go any further, we're sitting here at $17. I need to put, I don't know if they're in here, but I told them that I would put their super chats from this afternoon. West Virginia Country Boy, Sight and Trops, and Ward family are all going in the hopper right now. So we got $58 to get to our next giveaway. So just to let everybody know, super chats are open. But getting back to my man, so is there anything on the offense, I know I want to talk about everything, but the wide receivers, I'll let you talk on this. What are you expecting? CD's not in camp, obviously. What are you looking for in our wide receiver room?
Next man up, just in case CD Lamb does want to hold out in the, week 1, week 2, who's going to be that wide receiver 1? And that's a hell of a lot to ask. That's a hell of a lot to ask Brendan Cooks, an aging wide receiver. That's a tall order to ask. So I'm hoping to see an emergence of Jalen Tolbert, adding on to what he has been doing since he's been here, and hoping like Jalen Brooks or Ryan Flournoy steps up. Actually, I want a wide receiver to be able to make controversy with that wide receiver 1 position, because if he can do that, then that means he's a dog, and that means we got 2 dogs in the game at once. And that's what I've asked even before the draft. Like, get Dak another weapon on the other side. So I'm hoping somebody steps up this year.
Shout out to Twiz with the $10 super chat. Certified male. Dallas still stinks. Love you, Twiz. Thank you, my man. You'll never get blocked on my channel. So just remember that, Mark Holmes. You ain't getting blocked here, big guy. Thanks, Twiz. He's an Eagle fan, by the way. Knicks 2024. The Gallup retired. Tolbert is a
Gallup retired?
bust. No, Gallup didn't retire. He's been traded. But I got you,
about to say
Knicks
he's
2024. Lady Lieber with the $5 super chat. I can't wait for the season to begin. Lady, we got a lot to do. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, I'm looking forward to the season, but I'm really looking forward to this training camp, which is why we're going to focus on the start of camp tomorrow. They're on the field Thursday, and I really want to pick his brain regarding what to expect in training camp. I mean, we could, like before we get out of here, we could look at the schedule and just take a glimpse. But yeah, man, we have a lot of work to do. Angry Ward family.
Yes.
I just put your super chat in there. I just showed everybody, so you're in the hopper, bro. But yeah, my opinion on the wide receivers, Angry, is this. We know CD, again, he's the best slot receiver in the league, right?
Right.
Oh, wait. It was just posted about Gallup. So you're telling me Michael Gallup retired, Cowboys Cave? Wow. Well, he's looking at it now. I guess I can look it up too. But wow. That's rough, man. If that's the case. He did?
Yeah. Just in, wide receiver Michael Gallup is retiring from the NFL.
God bless him, man. If that's listen, that tells me one thing, Angry. That tells me that knee ain't right. That's the only thing that tells me. Right? I mean, what would that tell you? I mean, you can say you fall out of love, but with the game, but he's torn that ACL at least twice, maybe 3 times. I want to say he tore it early, he tore it in college, then he tore it again with Dallas.
Ugh.
That's rough. I mean, Mark Holmes, he don't even have an ACL, but he's not playing wide receiver in the NFL. So here we go. The best slot in the game, 100%. Thanks, Twiz. You're stirring the gravy. Here we go. Twiz with another $5 super chat. But yeah, my thing is with the wide receivers, getting back to the wide receivers, is I'm with you. Brandon Cooks is on the final year of a deal. Whether he signs on he ain't gonna make a lot. Okay, whether he signs on again, who knows? But we need to see Jalen Tolbert. I am expecting a lot more from Tolbert. He was coming on towards the end of last year, but more importantly, Jalen Brooks was my pet cat going in the middle of training camp last year. I could just see people think I'm crazy when I say this. I don't even like saying it because I don't like making comparisons. I see a young Michael Thomas and Jalen Brooks. I think Jalen Brooks may actually be the number when it's all said and done. He's going to be a beast in this league. I love Jalen Brooks. I don't know. Am I nuts, or do you kind of?
I hope so, because when he was in the game, the limited snaps that he did play in those games, he did good. Whether it was setting a block for CeeDee Lamb on the screen, I remember that play. He did pretty good. So, and during the offseason, during training camp, you saw him in training camp in the limited videos that we had cooking people. So,
yeah, he attacks the ball. I like Ryan Flournoy. Just real quick. Jeff Lee says, hi, Game Time, Brian, and Angry Cowboy fan. So we have a lot of people in here. Shout out to the 63 people in here. Brad Harris, thank you, bro. Tommy Montoya, God bless you, man. I hope you're doing okay, man. I don't know how your weight is, but I hope, I always pray for you, my man. But yeah, everybody in the chat's talking about Gallup, and we re-signed him. Listen, I don't have a problem with that. There's no way of thinking he was coming on. That's one of those contracts where they tried to get a deal, and it came back to bite us. But it wasn't a major bite, I don't think. Sugar Daddy, what's up, bro? $5 super chat. I wanted poster for Twiz committing mail fraud. Twiz is here. Hey. I'll let it slide. He's taking care of Game Time. So, Sugar Daddy. I saw something about, I don't know if David Durden, he's one of the wide receivers that tore their ACL last year. I think it was Broadus that said that David Durden was the number 53. I don't know whether I believe that or not, but if he didn't tear his ACL, he was making the roster last year. Now he's back. We have a lot. This is where I say angry. Everybody wants us to go out and get like a stud this, a stud that. I think we have a lot of receivers in the building. They just need playing time.
Yeah.
I mean, we have CD. I mean, what they have in Philly, I don't think you can expect that. I mean, I give them credit for having 2 number 1 receivers. That's great and all. I mean, they got AJ and Devontae. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. But, that's not normal usually. Howie, I believe Howie's going all in. He's really trying to win. And that's all I ever ask from my team. I feel like we've wasted Dak. I'm sorry. I know Dak haters out there. I feel like we've wasted Dak. I feel like we've wasted Zach Martin. And we could go beyond this current team. Yeah, there it is. Romo. Maybe Jason Witten. I mean, you could go on and on. Like Hall of Fame, caliber players. We've wasted careers by not doing what Jerry did and go out and get you a Charles Haley. I know it was a non-salary cap. I get it. I'm not arguing that, but very frustrating. I mean, is this where you brought the angry Cowboy fan out? Is that why you're frustrated? Is that why you're angry because of what this team has done or what, man?
Actually, it started as a platform, just because how we were represented in the media, how we were represented from other fan bases, but also, and not limited to, our front office, the way Jerry and Steven conduct business as usual. That gets me frustrated. And especially like the year before I started the channel, I really paid attention to the off season and what was going on. And it just like, man, it's kind of like the Matrix. Now I see everything. Now I see what's going on. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's like it's like it's slow motion anymore, because Jerry Jones, he sits on the bus and he says we're going to go all in, right? And we think oh my God, is this the year that we get something different? Leo says, real quick, we have somewhat similar circumstances given Cam Jurgens moving into the center position on a full-time basis. He's coming off a Pro Bowl season and moving into the position he was drafted for. Leo, I think they're going to be just fine. Listen, we're not, as an Eagles fan, I wouldn't be worried about him being Jason Kelce. He's got to be the best, the Cam Jurgens he could be. But I don't think the drop-off is going to be so big. I saw Pro Football Focus rank the Eagles' offensive line right now number 1 in the league. Believe it or not, Dallas was rated 15. So, again, when you have the weapons of AJ, Devontae, you have Dallas Goedert in the slot. You went out and drafted a couple good receivers that I liked. You have the number 1 offensive line. And then, oh, by the way, you go out and get Saquon Barkley. Right? That's like what do you call it? What's the term I'm looking for? Like an exaggeration of riches? Or, I mean, you guys are rolling on offense. We would love to have that, but it is what it is. But anyway, let's get back to the offense. The running back situation, Angry. What is your... Again, that's another thing. We need to get this guy. We need to get that guy. Just let me hear what you got to say about our current running back room and what you possibly think they're going to do and what would you like to see them do,
All right. So, obviously the starting running back that I want to see starting the games is Rico Dowdle. If he can stay healthy, I believe he has just enough of that Tony Pollard to keep it going, that continue that thunder and lightning that Zeke and Pollard was able to create. But now also, so let's say starter Rico, second Zeke, third is the question for me. And as much as I like Deuce and want Deuce, like maybe we need to have a Royce Freeman in there or something,
Yeah. Brad Harris, the Muppets are pathetic in the downfall of this team. Hi, angry Cowboys fan. The angry. I call Jerry and Steven the Muppets, if you didn't know. I've done a few videos. I've even put the Muppets, like the two old guys in the balcony. That's who I think they are. Just frustrating, Brad. I think they know right from wrong. I just think they're stubborn. Honestly, I think they're more important. I'm not trying to be negative, angry. I'm really not. This is like the precipice of optimism going into camp. But I think they're really their main focus since winning in '95. In their mind, okay, we got the Super Bowls. Now it's time to develop this franchise and take it into the 21st century. We want to skyrocket. And skyrocket they have done off the field. They are worth, I believe, now it's up to close to $12 billion. The last time it was like $11 billion. Instead of going out and getting free agents angry, they dumped $100 million in the Comstock. They are doing a lot of things. They own a lot of businesses overseas, a lot. People don't realize how much they got their hand in, and they are printing money down there at the Star. But I think they've let the winning fire burn out a bit, and I think that they need to get it back. And I don't know what's going to make that angry, but do you agree that they're more worried about the bottom line? And if they win, it'll be almost like lucky. It'll be like, oh, okay, well, cool, we won. It's not like they're risking. I don't know about you, angry, and I'll let you get your thought out, but I don't mind the bad season every now and again because I like the draft. So when Dak got hurt, I kind of turned it as okay, well, now we're going to get a higher draft pick. He's going to rehab. We're going to get a guy that we probably wouldn't have gotten if he would have stayed healthy. Turned a negative into a positive. What do you think about this friggin' organization and what they're doing off the field, let alone not putting, it's like, am I wrong in my assessment or what?
No, you're not wrong. Every year we get propped up and then let down by this organization every single year. And I feel like, sorry guys.
No, you're good.
I feel like we couldn't hear the front office since 1994, since the salary cap has been put into place, they don't know how to work under the salary cap. It's like, we call them cap boy and stuff like that. But you see all these other teams making these moves, leveraging the team on these moves. And I swear, when you watch ESPN, the only ones that are saying that we can't sign people because we don't have the cap room is the Dallas Cowboys each and every year.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that. Real quick, Manuel Saavedra, there's only one leader in this team, and his name is Dak Prescott. You are in the hopper, Manuel. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I agree with you. It's almost like Steven makes excuses. I'm sure you're heard his latest. He's always saying they got to be willing to do a contract. I don't know, angry. Let me just ask you this. Isn't it your job as the capologist to identify what players... This is where I think we go wrong. I think we go wrong in identifying what players to keep and when. We wait too long for everybody. We have more dead money than virtually any team every year. Why? Because you're too busy trying to up injured players, and you're thinking that we're going to get a bargain. Jalen Smith, right? And you could help me out with some of the names. Jalen Smith, Terrence Steele. We signed him after tearing his ACL, when in reality, we probably should have signed him a little earlier. Michael Gallup, we waited till he tore his ACL when the market was nothing for him, and I think we gave him a long-term deal when we really didn't have to. Zeke, we waited till the last possible minute. Instead of identifying him and give him, they used to be good at this. I think when Jerry was younger and more involved in the cap, they would identify guys earlier, give them contracts like a Tyron Smith. You remember? Tyron Smith signed that deal, and it was a bargain for years. But, he got security, very frustrating, man. I mean, he makes excuses why, other teams are doing it. How come everybody else can do it, Angry, and we can't? Like, as far as like, you sign our guys. I mean, they offered, D. Law, Stephen Jones said, we'll give you 1 year, $10 million. He had to go to Jerry and say, Jerry, this is a slap in the face. And then he got his long-term deal. It's like, it's a little scary, man. It's scary.
I don't understand Stephen Jones. And I mean, it's easy for me to say because, I don't own the business and everything. I'm not making the sacrifices and whatnot, but I just don't understand it. Especially you're in what you're in. You're in the NFL, which means that you have to do these things. Why would you just want to spend the bare minimum and put just, just anything out on the field that'll get you recognition? Because at the end of the day, for 29 years, that's what we've been. Be just good enough to be relevant, be good enough to be in the papers or in 4 and 3 letter networks. And I'm getting sick of it. But at the same time, DC for life.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, we're frustrated. Why? Because we care so much about this team and we want to get back to our winning ways. Mark Holmes says Michael Gallup dead money is 4.3 this year and 8.7 next. So that tells you right there, again, that's just bad management. I honestly think that if some of these people in the chat can manage the cap better. I just think this, as it's Angry, it's like, in my opinion, it would be my job to identify, okay, what guys on this team do I want to have long term? Listen, I give them credit. They signed Trayvon Diggs last year when I thought he would be this year. I thought maybe CD would have been last year. That it's fine. I mean, listen, I'm going to give him props. I thought they did. They did a good job with Trayvon. Now he went and tore his ACL. Listen, you can't blame the organization for that. And he's. I would just tell everybody to calm down a little bit. Guys that you're going to start out the year on PUP, they're just being precautious. There has been no setback with Trayvon Diggs. There's no reason for him to go full speed day one in training camp. It's dumb. So, but we did get a lot of good news today through Mark Holmes. I did watch his video. We have, pretty much everybody else, which I'm surprised to hear that Mozzie Smith and Luke Schoonmaker are good to go. So that's good. Good. That's big. David Durden, again, that young wide receiver who they said, Brian brought us, that he was number 53. Somebody told him within the organization. I don't know that I buy it. John Stevens Jr., that's where I want to go next with our young tight ends. How excited I'm through the moon with our young tight ends. How excited are you with these young guys? And I'll break down the names, but he's just to let you know, John Stevens Jr. is a full go as well. So that's great news.
See, on the offensive side of the ball, I'm not really. I'm looking at him, don't get it twisted, but I'm more excited for the defensive side of the ball. Like, just all the additions that we have added to the defensive side of the ball. Mike Zimmer, we've added Mike Zimmer.
Yes.
And I'm just excited to see how he's going to use Micah Parsons because, some people get it twisted like Mike is going to be hard to handle. And
I've been a little critical this offseason. I'm just going to keep it transparent. I love him, but I've been a little critical. But,
and
we'll
past
get
couple
to it.
videos.
Yeah.
In the past couple videos, I've been critical of Micah Parsons because, I tell Dak Prescott haters, that say that he doesn't show up in the playoffs. Like, well, you got to have that same energy with Micah Parsons because he doesn't show up in the playoffs either. But at the same time, with the additions, like we were talking about Trayvon Diggs, and I'm an advocate, stand on the table for do not have him in week 1 full time. Like, if we're up by a couple touchdowns and you want to go out and you want to send him out to test the waters, walk him back into the cornerback position. I see him jumping hurdles and, doing all his warm-ups and everything. It's good, but it's not action. It's not, full bore NFL action.
Yep. When you're doing athletic, like, unbelievable. Yeah, let's face it. I think that's the hardest position in the league to come in and play is corner. I mean, it's just you're going up against the best athletes on the field, and you're, you know, I mean, coming back from an ACL, that's a little sketchy. But it's normally stronger. It's more confidence. It's more mental. But I agree. You know, that's one thing I really like. And we'll switch over to the defensive side. Our quarterback room. That's why it was kind of funny. Leo, I know Leo's in here. It was kind of funny to hear Philly 500 try and say it with a straight face that he thought his defensive backs were better than ours, or were going to end up being better by the end of the year. Listen, man, we got more INTs between Bland and Diggs. Like, we just need to back off and calm down. You can't be good at every position, Eagles. You just can't. You got to give us the defensive backs.
And I mean, didn't they just get 2 from the draft? Cooper DeJean.
They did, but you
one?
know how that works too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you can't count on them like you think you can. Hey, listen, I hope they both start. I think the mistake they made, just real quick, I think by keeping Bradbury around, I think Vic Fangio, and I heard this on Jacob Sports, Vic Fangio is going to be like, what, we have James Bradbury? He knows the deal. James Bradbury is going to be better than anyone else they have not named Keely Ringo, possibly. So it's going to kind of not look good if either one of your guys plays, you know. But so that's why they moved him to safety. But I would try and get rid of Bradbury quick, because that defensive coach may actually start him if he's still hanging around. But getting back to our guys, what do you think about our? I mean, I love Kalen Carson. I don't know if you know much about him, but dude, his upside. They call him the human seatbelt. He went to Wake Forest, and he is everything. He's kind of like a Deron Bland clone, but with better coverage skills. And that's a rookie that, as soon as they drafted him, they were jumping through the room. And then once you started hearing Brian Broaddus talk about it, I like Dane Brugler. They were like, this guy should not have been there in the 5th round. Dane Brugler had a 2nd-round grade on him only because he was kind of a late developer. But I'm telling you, just remember, Kalen Carson. He may be better than a lot of these guys that went in the 1st round. That's just how good his potential is. But getting to our studs, we got Trayvon, we got Deron Bland. I thought it was smart bringing back Jordan Lewis. We got, Israel Mukuamu. We got Nashawn Wright, who it's make it or break it. We need to see something from Nashawn, Israel Mukuamu, Eric Scott Jr. I mean, it goes on and on. We have a lot of bodies in that room. I mean, who are you excited about? Any of those young guys?
I want to be able to see Wanye at his intended position.
Yeah, that's my partner, Primetime Phil. Loves Wanye Thomas. Loves him.
Yeah, I want to see where he's intended to play, because he ain't afraid to hit. And that's one thing that I like. And that's the thing that I like about the young guys that came out of the draft. You look at their tapes, it's like they're not afraid to hit. Like Maurice Leofau, he reminds me of like a Troy Polamalu, but in the linebacker position. Troy plays safety.
Yes.
So that's what he reminds me of. And I can't wait for that, how they're going to line him up with a Micah Parsons or with a Eric Kendricks. But I do think Eric Kendricks is going to be like the nucleus of the defense.
He had what? I want to say he had 113 tackles last year. That would have led our team by a lot. I think our highest was Damone Clark with like 79 tackles or something. So that would have been big. Let's see here. Leo, let me get to the chat. Brian trying to hype up bum players Cowboys drafted. Philly Oldhead. No. Come on now. Nobody's hyping up. We're talking about our team. You're talking about Kenyon Mitchell. They got him playing. Twiz, where do they got Kenyon Mitchell playing? Dime linebacker, I think. They got Kenyon Mitchell. First, the top of the 15 player playing dime linebacker. Don't start, Philly Oldhead. Anyway, Leo says, put some respect on Howie's name. He's the best GM in the league, hands down. He's a good... I don't know if he's best in the league. I'm not going to argue with it. I don't think as far as drafting talent, when he can't draft a linebacker or a corner to save his life. So, but as far as contracts, in-season maneuvering, trades, yes, I would agree. Let's see here. I want to see Bland and see if he improved his game. So, what's your thought on Deron Bland? Do you think they're going to find a way to keep him, or do you think we may end up losing him? I'm not trying to be negative, but this year,
just the way that they're operating this year, it's like, are they going to just get rid of him? Are we going to be this development school where people come out of college, we draft them, we develop them, and send them off to a different team? At some point, we're going to have to keep studs, Like, we pride ourselves off of coming out of the draft and drafting well. What do you do when it's time to give those players the bag? You're just going to cut bait with them? Like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, D-Shift, I think that you might be right. Bland would be I don't know if he'd be number 1. He'd probably be number 2 until Big Play Slay retired. Yeah, like a lot of Eagle fans in here are saying Bland is overrated and that he got his interceptions off of a lot of bad teams. If it was so easy to do that, more teams would be getting more players would be getting as many interceptions as Deron Bland. Deron Bland is a playmaking machine.
Yeah,
playmaking machine. Now, is he perfect? No, that's what we're saying. And his market is going to be through the roof. So,
my fans in here.
Who's that?
Kid Cowboy.
Yeah, I don't know what Kid Cowboy's problem is, bro. If you don't like him, hit the road.
Yeah,
all right?
You don't like me. He got.
Well, I did hear one of your guys, D-Shift, say that you're normal angry. I guess you're not.
The voice.
Come
I
on
guess.
now. Yeah, go.
Yo,
it's
loose, different programs. It's different programs. You use OBS on a program. You use Restream. It's different programs.
It's still, listen, he still sounds like Don Cornelius. Drew, Brian did it against weak teams, respectively. Oh, Brian, he did it against weak. Again, weak teams, you still don't get those. He leads there's never been a rookie with as many interceptions. A young player since his rookie year with as many interceptions as him. He's going off. That's all I'm telling you, Drew. His market's going to be big. I personally don't think he will be a Cowboy long term, just because he's going to get way too much money. But what do I know? I'm just a Cowboys, a content creator that's frustrated, but very, very excited about the training camp because we're going to get to see Trey Lance. Arturo with the $5 super chat. Well, it's a super sticker, so I got to write you down, bro. What's
Trey Lance?
What's your thought on the Trey Lance trade? I know it's 6 months later, and what are your expectations on said Trey Lance?
And I was like, why? When they traded for him, I'm like, why? Why did you do this? But at the same time, I'm thinking like, well, maybe they're trying to light a fire under Dak Prescott's butt to say, oh, well, we'll go out. We'll go get a quarterback. You better shape up or you better get us further or whatever like that. But now, with everything coming out, with people seeing him throw, with him being in throwing sessions with coaches and everything like that, they're seeing that they're not going to be able to flip this house. And everybody that doesn't like Dak and Cowboys Nation and everything, they're like, just give him a chance. Give Trey Lance a chance. Like, hold on. Just like you said earlier in the podcast, we want our best people out there. What I'm saying?
I want our best. Yeah, exactly.
So I'd be damned that we just let somebody go in during the regular season. You can have the preseason all you want, but during the regular season, I'd be damned we let somebody go out there just to give them a chance. Here we go with the participation awards.
Yeah. Arturo, how much is Bland going to be worth going next year? I don't know. I don't know that he would get, I would say he would probably get upwards of, anywhere from 15 to 20 a year. I'm just saying. I don't know. Here we go. Thomas Garrison in the house. Deron Bland is a playmaking machine. People forget Deron Bland is the second player in the NFL history to lead the NFL in INTs for a rookie and lead the NFL in a second year. Again, Thomas, I don't know why, and it's usually the Eagle fans who like to crap on him. Yeah, he has given up big plays, but he actually tightened up towards the back end of last year. He didn't get as many picks, but he was a better cover corner, and he said he was gonna concentrate on that. This is what I'm excited for. I'm excited for him to play in Mike Zimmer's defense because it's going to be a little less of a gambling defense. That's what Malik Hooker said. He said, we're not going to give many big plays up over the top. You're going to have to, and this is where it comes back to, my Eagle fans here, Jalen Hurts, who's the knock on Jalen is he can't pick up the pressure. Well, guess what? Mike Zimmer is the master of bringing the pressure in disguise. He's going to have two linebackers in the A gap, and you're thinking, oh my God, they're coming. Then at the snap of the ball, they're going to fly back into the zone, and then you're going to have your nickel corner come blitzing off the end and going. It's very hard to deal with a Mike Zimmer. Thank you, Lou Branch. I appreciate you, my friend. Another Eagle fan there. Great live. Thank you. I heard you talk about Mike Zim. Are you excited about Mike Zimmer as opposed to Dan Quinn? Now, I'm not going to crap on Quinn. He did great things, but I think he kind of topped out in what he could do with his team.
I think, it's like being a father. It's cool to be your kid's friend, but you got to be his father. You know what I'm saying? With Dan Quinn, it was like, Dan Quinn, he's our buddy. He's our pal. Mike Zimmer's about to be your daddy. And for real, the person that you need, straighten up, get on the ball. You jump off sides, something's happening. And I think that's something that we have been missing probably since the Jimmy Johnson days. That fear of, if I don't do my job properly, something bad, something's going to happen. I'm going to get docked somehow.
Yep.
So I think I believe he's going to bring that to the defense and just use people in ways that they didn't think that they would be used to be able to tap into that, untapped potential, especially in Micah Parsons, man. I really think Zim going to work magic on him, and Micah's going to come out at the end of the year like, I should have listened.
And Brad Harris says it, Dan Quinn zone. Exactly. We were so frustrated with that defense. But I don't see Sledhead in here. He's my Packers subscriber. I got to give them credit for game planning, and you're seeing what Angry Cowboy fan, what he was saying about our defense. We were doing it with mirrors last year. You just remember, people, we had a very, very, very easy schedule, and we took advantage of it. And listen, this is a little forecast from my Eagles. Hey, Linda, how are you? I will take the win with almost lost the game, Mr. Okay. Linda, I would say this about Kellen. Kellen will beat up on the teams he's supposed to beat up on. I expect Jalen's stats to go up against the easier teams in the league. Kellen's the best out of just beating up on mediocre teams. Where he struggles is when he has to adjust on the fly. I don't know how he's going to do in Philly. I don't know I would assume he's going to adapt to Jalen's talents. I would hope he would, but we don't know until we see it. Carl Whittington, no 2-a-days or 3-a-days, just saying. Yeah, it's not what it used to be, Carl. It's just not. Linda having to use wit versus facts as always. Sean Paul, what's up, brother? Eagles running game will be better with Kellen. Listen, I don't know about that. Sean Paul, I don't know about that.
I believe with Kellen in Philly, it's gonna do good. I mean, I hate to sound like the optimistic Philly fan, but at the same time, it's like that untapped potential. Jalen Hurts had played all last year hurt. Them, running him up the gaps, hurting him. Kellen Moore is going to come in there, make him more of a pocket quarterback with the option to run. Then you got Saquon Barkley in the backfield to give him some security.
It's deadly. I'm not going to lie. Zimmer not taking no SHIT this year. Thomas Garrett, you're in the hopper. Thanks for the super chat. We have qualified for one drawing, people. Yes, thank you. So we will be giving away something to somebody today. Revelation journalist, welcome to the show, my man. Stephen Jones' business model is now to get rid of all of his real NFL players and replace them with only UFL players. I like that. I actually like the linebacker, and I don't have a problem with Gary and Conley. I hit it when I predicted who they would. After all the guys that they brought in, I actually like the linebacker a lot. So he's got NFL pedigree. Things happen, people. I would say this, the angry Cowboy fan, that we have a good track record with drafting linemen in the first round, offensive linemen. We've drafted 4, believe it or not, only 4 offensive linemen in the first round. All 4 have made it to a Pro Bowl. I'm not saying it's going to be a Pro Bowl this year, but I'm saying they all made it to a Pro Bowl. So I would lean towards my team and pick an offensive lineman. I don't know about UFL players. I know we've got 2, and they both made it to a Pro Bowl, albeit a kicker and Cavante Turpin.
Yep.
So again, there's a reason why some people are still predicting Cowboys to win the division. I probably won't. I'm pretty sure I won't. But there's a reason why. They got a lot of talent on this team, people. They are a very talented team. They just can't seem to win in the playoffs. I don't know why. I mean, I think they are deficient, and they don't cover themselves. Obviously last year, I think this team, when they had the rash of injuries early on in the year, actually in training camp, you figure we lost to Marvian Overshone, who looks like a beast right now. They never replaced anybody. They let guys get plucked off our practice squad, and then they put Marquise Bell, who lives actually 15 minutes from me. He just bought a house 15 minutes from me. They put him at linebacker, and Angry, that Dan Quinn wanted Bobby Wagner. He did. He did, and they said, no, we're not going to pay, $5 million or whatever hell he wanted last year? Well, guess where he went this year? He's with the Commandos.
And that's my thing. Like, if you as a defensive coordinator go to a head coach position and your first order of business is to bring in Bobby Wagner, the organization before didn't want him there.
Yeah. That was a no-brainer, man. And it's moves like that, which is why I like Howie. Exactly. Logan, welcome to, what's up, Logan? Twiz, moves like that is why Howie is really, really good. He will see a deficiency. I got news for you, Eagle fans. If their linebackers aren't looking so hot, Howie will make a trade before the start of the year. You could bet your bottom dollar, whereas Dallas would try and mask it by putting a player who probably shouldn't play there to save a buck. It's moves like that add up. Carl Winnington, he's been a coordinator on teams that have won rings. Yeah, I love Mike Zimmer. I wasn't gonna lie. He was a candidate on the fly to be head coach. So the fact that he's our D coordinator, and I think he's 67 years old, I think he's comfortable in that role. I just wish they had more security. But anyway, go ahead, Angry.
So with Mike Zimmer, do you think if the season is if it doesn't go to expectation, yes?
No, I'm sorry. He said, would you take Wagner over Kendricks? I would say yeah, but that's just me. But anyway, I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
If this season doesn't go as scheduled or to plan or whatever, do you see Mike Zimmer taking over Mike McCarthy's position as head coach?
Yeah, obviously that's the obvious move to make. I hope we don't have to deal with that, because that means we're not doing well. Right. I still think that offensive line, like the closer we're getting, that's why I'm excited about the training camp. What's gonna happen, right? I would hope that my team would go out and make a move to get somebody, but and this is how I'm thinking. You brought up Wanye Thomas, right? Let's say Wanye. Yeah, I know. I need to activate the Mystic, Brad. I've thought about it. I need to do it. But anyway, you brought up Wanye. I think he's an unbelievably talented player. I don't know where he fits under Zimmer. I'm not saying he don't. I just don't know where he fits under Zimmer's scheme. And my thing to you is a guy like Donovan Wilson. Do you think he's going to thrive under like Zimmer, or do you? I mean, it can go both ways, and I bring it up for a reason. But let me just get your opinion on Donovan Wilson in Mike Zimmer's scheme. Do you think he's going to be good, or do you think there's going to be an issue? Because he's got value out there, is why I'm bringing it up. He's a guy where, if Wanye steps up, right? Let's say Wanye steps up. This UFL linebacker is who he is. Wanye is going to be a safety. Marquise Bell, right? Mm-hmm. Do you really need? I mean, Donovan Wilson, you could trade him and get back a decent amount back. You could get that one technique if we needed. That's all I'm saying. He's a guy, in my mind, he's either going to be a stud for Zimmer or he's going to be an extra guy that we could flip. But that's, as a general manager, that's my brain, how it thinks. Like Eric Scott Jr. Eric Scott, we know now that Dan Quinn loved Eric Scott so much that we used a 6th and a 5th the next year to draft him, yet he didn't get on the field. Maybe he loves Eric Scott, and maybe Kalen Carson develops and everybody else develops, and we could flip Eric Scott back to Dan Quinn for John Ridgeway. I've been saying that for a long time. But anyway, I don't want to cut you off. Get back to, what's your opinion on that, on Donovan Wilson? I mean,
if you can put Donovan Wilson out there on the trading block and get something for him, I mean, something comparable, it has to be like a third, or less, and you're not going to get any. You're talking player for player.
Yeah, but I think that would be easier, right? Like you go to a team who maybe drafted a young one technique and has a veteran that and they're seeing you guys develop whatever position that we may need. I'm just saying right now, JoJo, you're in, sweetie. Thanks for the super sticker. I just wish my GM would be more active like that, you know what I mean? That's the thing, because they're already talking angry that James Bradbury is going to be flipped for something, and I believe it. The Eagles will trade James Bradbury and get something in return, and they'll be like, damn, how come we couldn't have done that? Well, you could have. You just got to pick up the phone. Remember, Stephen Jones is the same guy who did not know who DeAndre Swift was when Detroit called during the draft 2 years ago to try and trade Swift, and then they ended up trading him to Philly. And he said, no, we're not interested. Didn't even bring it up to the room or anybody in the room, and he didn't know who the player was.
So that shows you right there that Stephen Jones is the end all be all.
That's Mark Holmes' guy.
if he can sit there and make that decision, like, yeah, we're good, and hang up the phone and don't talk to nobody, that's your end all be all.
Unfortunately, that's a scary situation. Now, if I'm, I think we'd be way better off if they said, hey, Will McClay, you're the GM. Just, run it by us. But it's ultimately your decision on trades and everything. I think that would be great. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, at least it leaves a good eye out there. Because Will McClay has a great eye. So if he's coming to you saying like, "Hey, I believe we should get this player," you might want to put a little stock into what he's saying.
Twiz, are you stirring the gravy? Cat Boys knows what he's doing. Listen, I think he's a smart man. Don't get me wrong. He's probably way smarter than I am. Probably way more book smart. I'm a mailman, for crying out loud. He's a chemical engineer. So I'm not gonna just, argue his smarts. But football smarts? Okay, I don't know about that, man. It's what have you done? I look at what you've done, and what Steven does is look at the bottom line first and foremost, and everything works off of that. Lou Branch, Henry even said he was waiting on Jerry to call, meaning that Derrick Henry.
And when they didn't go for Derrick Henry, it was a sure thing in my head that we were going for a running back in the draft. When we didn't go for Henry, I'm like, okay, we're going to get a running back. But then when we didn't get a running back, I'm like, and you figure out like, oh, Zeke's coming back. Like, oh, they had Zeke in the pocket already. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little annoyed because I really wanted either Marshawn Lloyd out of USC or Jalen Wright. I think it was Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. I wanted one of those running backs. There was a boatload of running backs with all the picks they had coming up. And listen, angry. That doesn't mean you still can't go out and get Zeke. You still can bring Zeke in. Zeke's not your every down back. Everybody's, oh my God, your best running back is Zeke. No. Like the real Cowboy fans know that Rico Dowdle is the most explosive back on your team right now. I mean, I don't know about Nathaniel Pete. We'll see. He's a young guy, but Rico is explosive. His problem is he can't stay healthy. That's his problem. That's what his problem is. But I wanted a running back, and they took – you could have traded up. Like back in that fourth round, you could have given up a couple picks this year. Nothing high, a fifth and a fourth. You're getting what, 3 or 4 compensatory picks,
right?
I mean, you flip them. You're allowed to flip them now. Hey, Chris May, Schoonmaker is good to go for training camp. More good news on him. Luke Schoonmaker is good to go. Now he probably will hurt Pinky in a couple of days, but
You better be ready.
Leo Bridgewater. Don't forget, we could get a second if Hassan plays a certain number. Yeah, Leo, I believe Hassan Reddick will sign a deal. Hassan Reddick is living in his own world. Yet another good move by Howie. Not necessarily a talent for talent. I think Huff has a big Huff has a big upside, but he's never been a consistent every down player out of the Jets. So we'll see about that. But obviously Leo was a good move because Eagles weren't paying him $25 million a year. So again, Howie does it again. We can't sit here as Cowboy fans and not give respect when it's due. I'm not going to be that way anyway.
I'm not.
Listen, I still want to beat the hell out of you, Leo. Your squad. I'll be at the game in Arlington against the Eagles on November 10th. I'm going to be rooting them on, but I'm going to give you credit. Lou Branch, Zeke don't worry me, but Henry does. Well, I sat here and did a trade deadline show, last year and sat and watched nothing. Dallas did nothing yet again when Derrick Henry was waiting. And then we say, okay, after the year, surely they're going to go and get Derrick Henry. Nope, they didn't even pick up the phone. So, again, I don't know what this team's doing, but that being said, I'm confident that we've won 12 games, and Eagle fans hate it. We've won 12 games 3 years in a row. We're doing something right, people. We're a very good team. We just aren't doing the little things as an organization, in my opinion.
And I believe that is the barrier. Like, as much as people want to throw it on one person, and I won't even name his name, but I truly believe that it is the front office. And if the front office doesn't change, we're not going to see a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Conducting business as usual.
And listen, I have a lot of Eagles subscribers. That's why talk a nice amount of Eagles angry, but I will say this: Eagles are in the same boat as far as they were 10-1 last year. If they didn't choke against the Jets, they were 10-1. Yet they knew it's all about what you do in the playoffs. That's why I'm going to stand on this. I'm probably not going to pick Dallas to win the division, but I don't care about that. It's about how you're playing going into the playoffs. If we make it to the playoffs this year, we're going to be playing half decent because we have a tough schedule. So it's
right.
It's tough early out the gate, especially, but it's a tough schedule, people, and that's what I like. I like the fact that our division is going to be better. Listen, what's your thought on, just real quick, what's your thought on the Washington Commanders this year? Do you think they're the real deal, or you think they're going to struggle a bit? Or, what are you thinking about them?
That's sneaky. Like, the Commanders are going to be a sneaky team. They may not be click the way you would want them to click, like, let's say, a C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. That they may not click like that in the first year, but second, third year, it's going to be a three-way, it's going to be a three-way fight in the NFC East. And unfortunately, the New York Giants are going to be left out. But that's the thing about me is, like, I like when the NFC East are all dogs and we're
Yes.
all jockeying
Exactly.
for
Yep.
position.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That
Yep.
is football to me.
Well,
You know,
that's where we always got into, Washington. I'm going to say Redskins because they were the Redskins. They were always our rival. And the Giants, that was always a tough game going into the Meadowlands. Listen, we've owned the Giants, and what I've seen so far, I'm sorry, Cop Pizzle, I will have him on again before the start of the season. I might do some sort of roundtable, but I don't know, man. I don't know how good the Giants are going to be. I mean, obviously their defense is going to be better, but that Washington team scares me as far as they're going to be playing with a lot of emotion. They have a lot of veterans on that team that's not going to allow these rookies to not be there mentally. So it all comes down to Jaden Daniels, the one guy I did not want them to get because that was my favorite quarterback of the whole lot. I like Caleb Williams. I'm not saying he's not talented. He is. But just for whatever reason, Jaden Daniels was the one guy I'm like, man, if he ends up at Washington, that could be scary. That's scary, people. Now, they have a really tough schedule. Really tough. So we'll see. A lot's on that guy's shoulders, but he's got a lot of talent, man. He's got a lot of talent around him. So
I get kind of scared with the whole defense of Washington and the fact that they have Dan Quinn, a defensive head coach that just came from everybody coming from the Cowboys, and it's like we're looking for some get back.
Yeah, well, he knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows who's weak in coverage or what routes maybe if somebody might be weak in covering. That's why Mike Zimmer is a big key. And Mike Zimmer, everybody forgets, his first year under Parcells said, Mike Zimmer, we want you to run a 3-4. Mike Zimmer's like, okay. And then he goes in the other room and goes, I've never ran a 3-4 in my life. Yet he made that team a top 15 defense with that wins and real small linebackers, I mean, it's just very who was the other little guy we had? We had that win. Who was the other little guy, little linebacker that we had? I can't think of his name, but yeah, he was doing it, and he's just a very, very smart defensive guy. What's up, Glimmer Man? I haven't seen you in a while. I think Cop Pizzle will be crying if they are depending on Danny Dimes. I think he's got weapons, though. I like what they did on offense. I think it's just like Dexter Coakley. There you go, baby. Knicks 2024. A good grab. Dexter Coakley. That's who I was thinking of. Danny Dimes is going to be as good as his offensive line. I don't think the loss of Saquon Barkley is going to affect him at all. Because I like Devin Singletary. I like the young backs that they got. I think it's all about the defensive line. Flip Shelton, what's up, brother? Yeah, Zach Thomas. Yeah, he played that 1 year with us when he was toast. I'm not afraid of Dan Quinn, not since the Green Bay game. Sugar Daddy, I hope you're right, bro, but you know how that works. That's going to be a close game. It's always a close game with Washington. Normally.
It's usually a close game, and with the simple fact of you don't know if there's bad blood in between the two camps. We're gonna go in there with the mindset of let's kick his butt, but what are they thinking on the other side?
Right.
What bodies are buried over there that that they know of?
Yes, rum and coke, yes, man. Yes, rum and coke. If you tell Game Time, even if Dallas had Dak and CD signed, look at our schedule. Cleveland week 1. I think we have a heck of a tough schedule. I hate to be a pessimist. 8 wins. Michael Rizzo, the only way I see 8 wins is if Dak gets hurt or something. I think our bottom line record-wise is 9. I still think we're anywhere from, between 9 and 11. Somewhere in that area. If we win 12 again, that would be a surprise to me, but we'll see. 9 to 11, barring injury, people. Yeah, I'm going to couch it. That's just 9 to 11, as long as Dak and CD and Mike can stay healthy. That's right. That's where we'll be. I don't see 8. I just think I believe we're favored in all but 3 games, Michael. So, yeah, Vegas and you look at this schedule, it's spaced out nicely. It doesn't have super gauntlets going through like the end of the season. And with
the teams that we play this year, people saying that we were playing tomato cans last year. Well, this year is not tomato cans, so iron
last
sharpens
year
iron.
we did boy Trey. Yeah, last year we did. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Like iron sharpens iron. So hopefully with these teams that we're playing, it can get us in that playoff mindset if and when we do make the playoffs.
Yeah. Wild boy Trey. Washington doesn't scare me. They still have a rookie. Yeah, I know they do. But they surrounded him with so much talent in Trey that but they have a tough schedule. And I look at our schedule. If we're 500 after 6 games, we're just fine. And if we're 3-3 after 6, we're good. Because that's the hard. You don't want to be 1-5. You don't want to be 2-4. If you can be 3-3 or better, then we're opening up that 12-win opportunity. So I think the beginning of the season is going to be interesting. I love the fact that Myles Garrett is our first opponent. If I'm a young guy, I want to go up against the best. Now, we're going to help. I mean, you just don't throw him out there like a Chaz Green to get used and abused like Jason Garrett did and didn't say, can we get a tight end over there? Can we get a running back? I would have a tight end and a running back. I would be just – that's just me. Mike McCarthy will put together a team. Zimmer will – make a tough defense. We had a really good special teams. Speaking of special teams, now I don't know. Are you familiar with the new rules? I'm excited about it. I'm excited about everything with the special teams.
Oh yeah. We have found a place for Deuce Vaughn. Like Deuce Vaughn and Kavontae Turpin, because you can have up to 2 receivers in the landing zone. Oh my goodness. They should eat this year. I mean, one of the 2 should be looking at the return record. That's how much I'm looking forward to this new rule change.
Yeah, and like they were saying that in OTAs when they were doing a kickoff, anything that was actually fielded, Dallas was averaging midfield. Now, I'm sure a lot of teams were, but that's the advantage because nobody can move. The ball is kicked. Nobody can move until the ball is either caught or the ball hits the ground. So I think you're going to see a lot of squib kicks, if you ask me, like a lot of low liners that hit the field rather early, so the players can run. Because if they just try and kick it high in the landing zone, every team is going to get the ball near the 50-yard line.
I honestly think that if I'm not mistaken, squib kicks are no longer allowed. Like if you're going to do an onside kick, it has to be known before you do it. And if you don't hit the landing zone between, the 20 and the goal line?
Yeah.
You get automatically spotted at the 40.
Yeah, that's bad. So it'll be interesting. I know this. I won't necessarily be going to the bathroom during nap time. I will wait for a commercial break, that's for sure. My name is Wild Boy for a reason, LOL, Devil Dog. Let's see here. Come on, Kid Cowboy. Be cool, bro. Deuce Vaughn should never have been drafted to begin with. Deuce Vaughn, I actually like Deuce Vaughn. I think you have to understand something with Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn didn't have a chance last year behind this offensive line. He's not going to be an every down back, but in the open field, you cannot touch him. You can't tackle him one-on-one in the open field. You cannot. So I love the fact that they're going to line him up in the slot, get him the ball. Everybody just needs to relax when it comes to Deuce Vaughn. I don't know what you were thinking you were getting. Deuce Vaughn didn't have a shot last year. Our offensive line was not good, people. Just look at our running stats. We didn't run the ball particularly well. Yet we still won 12 games because of the schedule, and Dak Prescott had a hell of a year. Even if you hate Dak and you don't want to admit it, he had a hell of a year, an MVP runner-up season, 36 touchdowns, 10 INTs, 4,500 yards. I mean, again, with one receiver, no running back, a beat-up offensive line. And by the way, it's no surprise that Jake Ferguson had a blow-up year. Why? Because they had to get the ball to him. They didn't have a lot. I'm not saying Dak has never had talent. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying last year, they didn't have that much, So Zeke going out with a bang, book it. I hope you're right. I love Zeke, so I didn't like how that ended with Zeke playing, center and getting bowled over in San Francisco. I thought that was embarrassing. I
I,
don't know.
I wondered why. That's all I could think. I was like, why?
It was just a bad, it was just a bad way to end it, man. I was like, Jesus, Zeke, that one hurt. There you go, Wild Boy Trey. Jalen Brooks will be our new Michael Gallup, but better. Oh, I think it's Michael, all right. I said Michael Thomas last year when I saw him in training camp. People thought I was nuts. I'm just telling you, people, that's what the kind of talent you're going to see it. I hope he can stay healthy because it's going to make me look good, I think. Dak needs to use the seam this year. Dak loves the seam route. Yeah. Well, that's why I was going to talk about the tight ends. We got some big boys this year. I think we picked up a guy named Brevin Spann-Ford, who is a big boy. We got John Stevens, who was arguably our best tight end in camp last year. We got Jake Ferguson. And we'll see. We have a bunch of tight ends, but those three are big time. And then we got Luke Schoonmaker. I think Peyton Hendershot is in for. I don't know that he's going to make if everybody's healthy. I think Hendershot's the odd man out, and we got Noah Fant, who Dak really loves Noah Fant. So we'll see. We'll see how that's going to work out. What's up, Peppa's Few? How are you, brother? Brooks or Tolbert? I think they both are going to be an integral part. Your thoughts, Angry? I mean,
see, my thing is like, it seems like Brooks has a bigger frame than Tolbert does, and he can go up with those one-on-one contested catches. That's what I liked about Brooks a little bit more than I did Tolbert.
Yeah, and I think Tolbert came on last year how it was like in college was from high school to college. That first year was horrendous. And then COVID, and then that next year he blew up, and then that first year in the pros was non-existent. And then I'm not saying he blew up, but he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. He was coming on by the end of the year. So
he was.
Thanks, Drew. Appreciate you, my man. Yeah, let's get the likes up, people. We got 53 people still hanging in here. We're going strong. Lou Branch says, I don't know how Dak stays. It isn't about the money, but he still isn't signed. Again, it's one of those deals where I'm lost with the whole Dak Prescott thing. I don't know. It should not have got to this,
right.
But here we are. So let's see. I think they get something done. If they don't, then I think it's because Dak doesn't want to be here. I honestly think that Brian Broadish, he did have a good point. He think they should pull him in the office with or without his agent and say, okay, if we pay you 60, this is how, in 2025, 2026, 2027 look on paper. This is what, these are the guys that we're probably not going to be able to keep. Listen, I'm angry. This is what you got to do he needs to be a part of the decision-making if Dak's going to be around. If you take 58, or let's say 55 million. This is what in 2025, 2026, 2027, this is what it's going to look like. I think if he does that, hey, listen, maybe Dak don't care. Maybe Dak wants out. I don't know. He's this close to free agency. Players get a little excited about that. Maybe he's like, hey, listen, me staying in Dallas, there might be too much pressure for me to ever win here. I could go to New York Giants, New Orleans Saints, Oakland, or Los Angeles Raiders and walk in and be a hero on day one, as opposed to us, whenever they lose, it's Dak Prescott's fault. So, that's just how I feel. What do you think? Angry? Do you think he's back with a long-term deal or what?
I think he is back with a long-term deal, just for the simple fact that I don't know the guy from Adam. I've never met him, but just how I see him on television, how he carries himself, I feel like he is one of the last of the dying traditional quarterbacks. Why everybody's mobile and outside of the pocket and everything. He's poised, statuesque in the pocket. I believe he's one of those guys that I was born wanting to be the Dallas Cowboy quarterback, and that's what I'm going to be. So if I were Jerry, personally, I would be like, let me bring you in the office. Like, dude, this is what's going on. We want you, but
Makes sense to me.
but like and as soon as which one was it? It was Trevor Lawrence. As soon as Trevor Lawrence dropped, I'm like, listen, we want to make you the highest paid at 56.5. Give him a dollar more than what Trevor Lawrence did in guaranteed money, just to give him that title, because it's gonna be gone in about a month and a half.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I get like frustrated with this team about, because when you look around, here's the deal. When you just everybody in the chat, when you sign CD Lamb, we're instantly going to save about probably $12 million on the cap this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's counting for 17. You see what the Eagles are doing with the numbers. Jalen hasn't even really hit as far as his contract. How they're structured. Howie Roseman knows how to structure deals. Now, listen, you have to pay at some point. It's when you flip these levers after a year of signing a guy, when it really puts money on the back end. And Dallas does that a lot. They flip levers when I don't know that they necessarily have to. But if we sign CD, which I believe he will be the first domino to fall,
right,
we'll go from 12 million, or I think we're sitting at 12 or 13 million under the cap. We'll go to close to 24 million, just right there. And then if Dak were to sign, we'll save a boatload. You remember, he's counting $55.4 million against the cap this year. So again, by doing that now opens up money to maybe you sign somebody a year early. Like, you can say what you want about Dak, but signing Dak this year, you will get a better deal than when he hits free agency. Why? Because he doesn't have to. And I disagree. I forget. Mark likes to show, and you do too. Like when you do your videos, you'll show clips of ESPN, like whoever it is. And they were talking, and they were so wrong in my perspective. I believe it was the basketball player, the big boy.
Paul Pierce?
No, but one of the ones who likes to hammer Dallas. I can't think. Perkins.
Yeah.
He was hammering Dallas, basically saying, that, Dak Prescott and that that you're not going to get a deal. Listen, if Dak Prescott goes out and hurts his leg again, it's a wrap, most likely, for his. He ain't getting $60 million on the open market next year. So you are going to get a deal, people, at least cheaper than it would be next year. A NFL season is a grind, especially for the NFL quarterback, especially behind a rookie potential left tackle. A new center, I think it'll be an upgrade, but it's still me. It's wishing and hoping. I think on paper it's an upgrade, but we don't really know. You think he gets a hit on that leg, he's going to get $60 million. Go, oh, my God, he hurt it again. He's one hit away. So you will get a better deal now. I think it needs to be done, or he don't want to be here. That's what it is.
And my thing, the way I would frame it is like, he's going into his 9th year this year. So you give him a 5-year contract. At the end of that 5 years, this man is looking at retirement. So let's say the 3rd year of that 5th of the 5 years, you draft his replacement. You let him work, hold the clipboard for 2 years. And then once Dak Prescott retires, family man, maybe a job in broadcasting, you have this developed quarterback whom you've been spending time with, whom no other team has tainted, like the 49ers or whatever. You have developed him. Now he can take over. I am not opposed to Dallas moving on from Dak Prescott.
Me neither.
I'm just opposed to the abruptness.
Yeah, I'm opposed to post Troy Aikman not having a quarterback. It's easier for other teams to say, "Oh, you should let Dak go. He sucks." Well, he's given us 12 wins a year. Okay, I feel like if the front office does like another move and it just makes us that much more stronger, we could be successful. But I don't know that. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just surmising that Dak Prescott is. I mean, he's every list you see, he's top 10 in the NFL.
Right.
I mean, every list. So again, and if you look at that top 10, very few of them have winning records in the postseason.
Right.
That's the thing. You got to realize who've won Super Bowls. It's Brady, it's Mahomes, and then sometimes it's backups. It's Nick Foles, catching lightning in a bottle, who I thought they should have kept. But whatever, that's just me. Rolando Rodriguez, Game Time. What's up from South Texas? What's up, my man? Cheers. Dak is making $40 million this year. Jerry and Steven don't know how to work the salary cap. Go Cowboys. He's making $55 million, my man. But I hear you. Personally, I'd rather have Arch Manning for the future, not Deion's son. Arch hasn't done much either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, you go at any rookie, it's a crapshoot, man. It's a crapshoot.
I said it in my video today. You keep one foot in the past, one foot in the future, you piss on the present.
There you go. And that's exactly what I think that we've been doing.
Right.
Peppa's View. NFL wants 18 games. Wow. I actually am looking forward to 18 games and adding a bye week. I like March Madness. I like college basketball. So I just want to roll right up to basketball and cut out everything else. But all kidding aside, it's only a matter of time, right, man? We're going 18 games.
Phew. Man, they talking about they're tired at wild card weekend. Oof.
We're gonna love it though. But yeah, but add another bye week, and I think it's the players have to realize you have to say yes, because what it's gonna do is expand the rosters, expand jobs in the NFL. There's gonna be more jobs to be had, more revenue.
Because you have huge salary cap boom.
Yeah, so you got to look at the big picture, man. I mean, it is what it is, peeps. Cooks will have a big season yards-wise this season. World Boy Trey, I think Brandon Cooks, Brandon was coming on strong towards the end of the year anyway. People forget, Angry. You remember the beginning of last year? We played the first 5 games of the season, and our offense was non-existent. It wasn't until Dak, McCarthy, and CD went into a room and said, we need to figure this out, boys. Dak did that minus the first 5 weeks of the year, basically. He was average at best. The whole team was. And then they turned it on. We didn't do nothing the first 5 weeks. So just think about that. So what time is Hard Knocks start? Probably 9, but I always watch it on a replay, so it doesn't matter. So, Kalen Carson will be maybe 10 o'clock. I'm not real sure. Kalen Carson will be this year's DeRon Bland. I've been saying that, and I'm just saying, just get used to hearing Kalen Carson's name. I hope he can stay healthy. Again, people want to say I talk about, not, high profile players. In order to be successful in this league, you need to hit on not high profile guys. DeRon Bland was a 5th round draft pick. Okay, somebody in the chat the other day was telling me, well, you guys can't draft in the 2nd round. Well, we had DeRon Bland. We had Trayvon Diggs. He was the 2nd rounder. I mean, it's not like we can hit. So, Glimmerman says Cooks has his chance this year. Cooks can still turn on the speed. Yeah, I love Brandon Cooks. I do. Interesting enough, I wanted to talk about this too. Stephon Gilmore, angry Cowboy fan, he's still out there. Is that a surprise to you that he's still on the market?
It is. It really is. I figured if it wasn't us that would retain him, that he would go down to Carolina. He'd have a job somewhere.
Well, and I was saying this. I mean, like the Washington Commanders defense was not very good last year. Dan Quinn was his coach. They have over $37 million, and they have to spend more money, whether it's contracts. They have to use more of that money. Right. Yet they didn't bring him in. Now you're hearing that he had some serious slippage, Brian. And I always bring up Broadus and Bobby Belt, but Broadus was he was a Super Bowl winning scout. He ran the Eagles when they drafted Jeremiah Trotter and many others. He was with the Cowboys. He won a ring with Green Bay. He knows his shit, people. Is he always right? No. But he's right a lot of the times. And he said that he was surprised. So, I mean, like Brad Harris. So I mean, like, what's your thought on that? You know, I mean, what's your thought on that?
Oh, what? Um, which one? What Broadus was saying?
Yeah.
I mean, if with Brian Broadus, like, I really think of him as like, if he talks, you listen. You
Again,
know,
exactly.
he has a well of knowledge. You know, that's like when the whole Trey Lance thing came out. He was the first person that I heard from saying that he wasn't on time.
Yeah, he wasn't
You know,
looking good. Right.
yeah. And I'm like, well, shoot, if Brian Broadus is saying this, then there may be some validity to it.
He has nothing to gain by saying that, people. People got so mad at me, angry. They were like, yeah, you got to give him a chance. I believe Kid Cowboy was one of them. It's like, hold up. You know, all they're saying is he's struggling with the throws to the sideline, which was a surprise to me. You know, is he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like his timing was off. He wasn't getting the ball out of his hand. His mechanics were horrible. I'm talking about when they first got him, you know, and it's like very surprising that a Kyle Shanahan coached player didn't have good footwork. It's like, what's going on here? What's good? Something don't add up. Is it the player? But then when you look at the career, he hasn't played many games in his whole career. So, you know,
that man, he has a rocket. Like you would figure those outs would be money.
I think it's more footwork in my opinion, but we won't know. That again, that's exciting for me when it comes to this camp because he's going to get a lot of run because they want Dak back, people. I know that hurts some people. Dallas wants Dak back first and foremost, and they want to get this guy's value up also. They gave up a 4th round pick, probably a little bit faster than they probably should. I think I'll be honest. If all things were being equal, they would probably rather have Cooper Rush as the number 2 and got that 4th round, the draft pick back.
Yep,
it's probably what they were thinking now, but they took a shot, and we'll see how it pans out. But maybe you could flip him. Maybe if he has an unbelievable preseason, maybe you can flip him at the trade deadline or something. I still wouldn't get rid of him. If he looks that good, I probably would hold on to him at least till the deadline, God forbid something happens. But Lou Brantz, Gallup retiring just cost you all a coin. I don't know how they really cost us, though. His was already in stone what he was going to be cost. We've already dealt with the dead cap. We're dealing with it. So we knew what we were getting into. Spare none. Good evening, OG. Let the gossip begin with all of this in our Cowboys. It is what it is, man. At the end of the day, it's Cowboys camp, and we're getting excited. So I'm excited, man. I'm not trying to be negative, but this team doesn't give us much. So we have to discuss it all. The Glimmer Man, LOL. They want a 3rd for Lance. There will be injuries in a TC. We will see Lance at his best. Right? I hope you're right, Glimmer Man. I think it helps everybody if Trey Lance looks well. I think it helps everybody. You want him to look well, but I hope they re-sign Dak and we put it behind us. Felix Rojas, what's up, brother? But all right, man, is there anything else? We've gone an hour and 40 minutes almost. Anything else that you want to talk about? I've been talking a lot. I've been asking you about this and about that. Yeah, what are you looking forward to, or what's on your mind before we start this camp tomorrow?
I just want to get the defensive tackle position situated. I want to get into training camp and see what these D tackles have to offer, so that I can have some reassurance with the run stopping, because obviously that was an issue last year and it was something that they wanted to address this offseason. So how well did you address it? Because honestly, from an outside perspective, it's like, what did you do? What can these guys do? These guys that you added in the draft,
Justin Rogers, yes.
Yeah. Are they going to be impacts day one? So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that and the linebacking core, because I want to see how Damarian Overshown is with the weight that, with the muscle mass that he has brought on, but also the mental trust in that knee. You know.
Yeah, well, Glimmerman, he wants to know about the D tackles. How's it going to look? I think that's a evolving situation. I'm very surprised that Mozzie is ready to go, which is great. He needs to be ready to go, and they have him listed as a one tech. I don't know that that's the case anymore, but we're gonna see because it starts. I don't know where they're going to line him up at, but I'm excited for Justin Rogers. We picked up another guy from Illinois that I'm excited about too. I can't think of his name right now. Let me see. I thought I had written it down, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So he's another one tech guy. Oh yeah, Denzel Daxon. Bang. Thanks, Wild Boy Trey, thanks. Denzel Daxon. It's not like we don't have bodies there. Mozzie, I'm very interested to see. Did Hankins play in Green Bay game? Yes, Dave Thompson. Believe it or not, Dave, surprisingly enough, and I don't know how, but Pro Football Focus had a higher grade on Mozzie Smith than Jonathan Hankins. Jonathan, for whatever reason, was not wanted back by this team. He made this a little bit more than a minimum to go with.
Dang.
Yeah. So again, very surprising with that. Sometimes we get caught up on names, but Hankins didn't grade out well. So we'll see. Revan S. Should Tyler Smith be moved to left tackle and have Chuma moved to left guard? Again, Mark went a little nuts about a Tyler Guyton isn't ready. No. Here's the deal. They're not going to put Tyler Guyton the first day of training camp as a starter. I think they should because there's nobody even close to his upside. But they're not going to, and they're going to make him work his way through. I think he's still going to start. I really do. Unless he has an injury setback or he just looks lost. I think that he has way too much talent. He's going to be a Pro Bowler going forward. I just don't know how he's going to be out the block. I would rather start him and help him out if need be. But I want to see our best five out there also. So if that means Tyler Smith going out there, don't forget we got TJ Bass. TJ Bass played snaps at guard. He's very good. Phil knows the player. He went to his alma mater in the University of Oregon. He was arguably our best pick from last year, and he wasn't even drafted. He was a free agent. Yeah. So, again, we have a lot of interior alignment on this team. It's the tackle. So there is a chance where Tyler will be kicked out if need be, but I'm hoping that Asim Richards can step up or a Matt Waletzko. We need another tackle to step up. We just do. We can't. Yeah, that would be big.
Yeah, we need somebody to to take Chuma's job.
Yeah, Twiz, no, that's not him. That's not the Mexican folklore monster. No, he's gone. Chumi Dogo is really a never was. Sorry, he's just a journeyman lineman who's might start day one for the Cowboys. It's absolutely ridiculous. And we had a decent one in Hankins. Yeah, Carl, he was decent, but for whatever reason they didn't want him, so they didn't want to pay him. So. But we have young guys, so that's exciting. Youth is exciting, and we have bullets to make trades if need be. Whether we do it, I would think that we would.
That's the question.
But that's a dichotomy. That's the thing, because my thing is this: you got everybody on a 1-year deal, right? Everybody's on a 1-year deal, so are they going to want to go with young guys and watch them develop? They're going to want to. Yeah, Mike McCarthy is going to want to slide Tyler over and put, hit TJ Bass at guard and go with your best five. That's what he's going to want to do. Or go with a Cooper Beebe if he's better than Hoffman, just because he's a better player. And that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We have a lot of talent, Glimmerman. We have a lot of talent. So, it's again, people overlook the fact that how talented we are, even though we lost players. Oh, we didn't even get to one of my favorite guys. I'm expecting, and you were talking about the defense, I'm expecting huge things from Sam Williams. I understand, but I mean, what's your thought on Sam Williams? He had 7.5 sacks, and he didn't get much playing time last year.
Yeah, 7.5 sacks, and he was screaming, "Let the dog off the leash. Let me eat." So
yeah,
if you take the leash off, let him go. Let's see what he can do.
that's how I am. I mean, and then we got Marshawn Nealon that we drafted. Now, do you know anything about? I mean, this is the scouting that I got like before the draft about Nealon. He's really like a D Law clone coming out. He's going to play the D Law side. He's not going to be your rushing guy. He's a like the scouting report on Marshawn Nealon is he is a day one impact player against the run. He's not going to get out of his lane, far too often last year. Even Micah, he would get collapsed inside, leaving the outside, whether it was Jalen or whatever running quarterback. We would always give out that outside run because they're not being disciplined, holding that edge. He's unbelievable against the run. He's stout, he's strong, but the one thing they say is he doesn't offer you much bend or pass rush. Now, they said that about D-Law as well. So what do you think about here we go, Mark Holmes starting shit again. What do you think about Marshawn Nealon? What's your opinion on Marshawn?
I got kind of excited with Marshawn when I looked at his highlights. I got really excited for the simple fact, like, yes, he looks like that DeMarcus Lawrence, but the thing that really impressed me is that he could jump back in the pass coverage with the best of them. Like, I was like, holy crap, he can actually cover too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thanks,
I'm
Brad.
excited
I
about
appreciate
that.
you, my man. Yeah, I'm excited about it too. I was at the draft, me, Mark, Primetime Phil, and we were,
How was that, man?
I didn't think it was a blast. I didn't think that we were in the market for him, but I was excited because I knew that was a sneaky need for us. You always got to be a year or two ahead. You just have to. The D Law. I would love to have him back after this year on a nice deal, but he's probably done after this year. So
you think he's going to retire after this year?
I don't know if he's going to retire, but he's going to be able to get more than what we're going to give him. So you know how it works. They didn't want to give him that deal, so they'll probably have to let him go and get a compensation pick, or he's going to retire. Him and Zach Martin are both talking about retiring. So Marshawn on his knees will serve. Oh God, you're ridiculous, Twiz. Here we go, stirring the gravy. Can't believe I read that. But real quick, my wife's going to stir the hopper and give me a name, and we'll draw out a winner real quick. Pepis Feud. The team can be a surprise with no big free agent signings. Paper champs, all 32 teams. Let the field settle. Big names and no names. Who won it more? I like that view. Again, you can't have a full team of first-round picks and high price play. You need to find diamonds in the rough. Back in the day, we had a lot of those diamonds in the rough.
Right.
We have ourselves a winner. I think I know what he's going to want to do. Brad Harris is the winner tonight. So, Brad, let me know what you want to do. I got, you pretty much have everything I have, but I do have bobbleheads. I got a Dak Prescott bobble. I got a Jalen Hurts bobble. I know you want that Jalen Hurts bobble, Brad. You're a big Cowboy fan. I don't have any T-shirts that you don't have because you're a big supporter. I got some other colored hats, or you could give it to somebody else. So I could redraw if you want. So let me know what you want to do, Bradley. I could redraw for you, or whatever. He just won a Dak plaque. So, but that's your call, Bradley. Let me know, my man.
It's a Dak plaque.
Yeah, that was Mark Holmes' original. It was a Dak. It was Dak bobblehead. You got it. Brad gets the Dak bobblehead, and that'll be out in the mail maybe tomorrow. We'll see about that. But all right, everybody, we're gonna wrap this up. I know Angry had a lot of questions for me. I told him he should bring me on his channel or whatever.
Yes, we will get that going.
All right, I'm back. But yeah, we'll definitely have you on again, and but I know he wanted to talk about YouTube. We basically started our YouTube journey about the same time. Yeah, basically, I'm sorry, my dog's going nuts. My oldest just got home. I started about a year ago now as far as really doing content, and it's been fun. It's just the beginning, people, and I really enjoy the Angry Cowboy Fan and what he does. I have his channel link pinned up at the top. Anybody that's not a fan, please, or a subscriber, please subscribe to his channel, man, and you will see him also on Sundays with Mark Holmes. So, please sub up to my guy, Mark Hutchton. There he comes late. A good evening game time. Let me write your name down. Sorry, man. I'm a one-man show here. Mark Hutchton.
Oh, yeah. Glimmerman, the channel is The Angry Cowboys Fan.
Yeah, he does some great stuff over there. This is probably not normal for him to be on with somebody. I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but it is. Listen. We talked for 2 hours almost, so I think it went well. Yes. I talk a lot, so forgive me. I try and let it breathe and let you talk. So don't take it personal.
Not at all.
But again, I appreciate you, my man. Game time. Dogs sound hungry. Now, they're always hungry. You know how that rolls, man. I don't have, like Phil has his own spot where he can be and it's all soundproofed. I don't have that. Thanks, everybody. I'm getting a lot of people saying that they're subbing, so that's good. That's a good thing. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we have our channel member Zoom call, 8 o'clock tomorrow. So all you channel members, please come back and basically, I moderate the show for you guys, and it was really lively on Sunday. So I expect another lively one, and we'll keep up the super chats and give more stuff away. Anything else you want to say, Angry, before we get out of here?
I just want to thank you for having me on your channel. Thank you for introducing me to your wonderful, beautiful audience, Cowboys Nation. Thank you guys for being DC for life, for real. I know it's been a hard off season. It has been a real tumultuous one ever since the Green Bay loss, but rest assured, we're back. The Cowboys are back, and we're going to try and do something again this year.
That's it, man. And listen, at the end of the day, it's DC for life, and we ain't going nowhere without a fight. So with that being said, I will talk to everybody tomorrow, and we are out of here. Late.
Hey, man.
What?
I'm cool. This is me. We're going to jump on that spaceship and get out of here. Let's go.
No judgment. Shoot.
Get to smash that subscribe button. You know what? I'm going to give it, I'll give it 4 out of 5 avocados. Korg?
I was raised by avocados.
Oh, my God. Just kill me now.
Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
I think it's going really well. I know. I mean, this is literally the first time I took my gun out of the holster. Right.
And that is why we need a triumphant video.
What?
You guys led us to this. Thank you.